this weekend. The scores on the doors at this moment in time, there's a 9-point gap, 14 points to Sim, 23 points to myself. And the way the scoring works is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. The star man, once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. So far with star men, I've gone for Gakpo in the first game week. I got a goal, and Evan Nilsson got me nothing last weekend. And I think you went for Semenyo last week.
Semenyo got an assist, and Ndai the first week.
And Ndai got nothing the first week. So that's where we're at with the star men. But let's get into the weekend's action, starting off with a West London derby at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Fulham. Sim has gone for 1-1.
1-1. I think that Palmer's going to be a bit of a miss. I know he wasn't a miss against West Ham, but West Ham are in a shambles at the moment, and they scored a lot of their goals from set pieces. I don't think they're going to find it as easy in this one against a very well-organised Fulham team. We saw against United, I know they didn't have a great first half, but they're still quite well-organised. And I just feel Chelsea, you know, their opening game against Palace, they came into it later on, but they were quite lethargic early on. It's a London derby. I feel Fulham might be a bit on it in this one, and I think Chelsea might struggle to really break them down properly. And I feel as well with their defence, no, they haven't really replaced Colwell, have they? I'm still looking at their back line, and I think it can be got at a bit at the moment. I think they're playing Shalabar, Tosin at centre back, and still got Sanchez in goal. So I do think Fulham will score, and I've gone Chelsea just to get one. So I've gone for 1-1 here. Yeah,
I agree with you. I mean, I haven't been overly impressed with Chelsea so far in the first two games. I thought pretty poor first game out, albeit they came into it second half with Esteval and probably could have won that game. First game of the season, second game. Yeah, I mean, West Ham doing everyone's work for them, to be honest, at this moment in time. They smashed West Ham without really getting out of first gear. So whatever you want to say, it was a good kind of result for them. But yeah, like I said, it was mainly down to West Ham and how poor they were. Fulham have been decent. They should have beaten Man United last weekend with that second half display. What was their first game of the week season? They drew 1-1 with Brighton away. So that's a decent result as well. But I feel like they will be getting their first loss of the season. Chelsea at home, yes, no Cole Palmer, but they still got more than enough talent in that team to break down this Fulham side, in my opinion. You got João Pedro there, you got Pedro Neto there, you got Liam Delap potentially off the bench as well. Plenty of other players, and a squad that's cost over $1 billion to assemble. So yeah, I think Chelsea will have just about enough quality to get over the line. I think it's going to be a very close contested game though, and it might be kind of like 1-1 going into the final stages, and Chelsea just about nick it in the final stages. But yeah, for me, Chelsea to win 2-1. Next up, Manchester United against Burnley. We've both gone for 1-0 to Manchester United. Ruben Amorim under increasing pressure now in this job. We had a big conversation last time out on Review the Prem, and I was saying, you got to give the guy time. The squad that he's walked into has been a complete shit show, which is all true. However, you cannot be going out to Grimsby.
They didn't just go out, they got outplayed.
Yeah, they got outplayed. You cannot lose to Grimsby with Cunha and Mbeumo and all these guys in the side, Sesko. I mean, it's unbelievable that they got absolutely torn apart by Grimsby. And then the penalties as well. They go out on penalties. But look, I think against Burnley, Burnley are going to set up to frustrate Manchester United here, which is going to ask Man United to have the ball, attack. I think they'll just about get over the line. I think it's just going to be a stodgy game.
Yeah, I think Amorim, look, I don't know if I don't think it's going to be an impressive game. I don't think it's going to be turning anyone into believers, but I do think they'll probably just about get the win. Burnley, I don't think have enough quality in their forward line to be sure they're going to score. I don't think they will.
Man U's backline's looking shaky.
No, I know. I just doubt the quality of the Burnley forward line. And I think United, they'll score a goal with one of their own players in this game with the forward line they have. I just think they're bound to score at least a goal, and I've gone for 1-0. I don't think it's, again, I don't think many people are going to be impressed by it, but I've gone for United to just scrape it 1-0. And Amorim, will it keep him in a job after the international break? If they don't win this, is he gone if they don't win?
The way he was talking last night, I feel like, I don't know, man. I said that, they'll give him till about November, December last time we spoke. But as each game progresses, and like if they go back-to-back losses, Grimsby and Burnley,
it's going to be hard for him to. I mean, but then again, I don't know where they can't really sack him though, can they? Because where do they go?
Yeah.
But the pressure's already like at fever, like a boiling point. It's getting there already. The pressure.
Where do they turn after this?
That's the thing. The thing is, they're stuck because they've invested so heavily in him. They can't surely chuck it away after 3 games. But if they keep him, it's like. Then they could have kept Ten Hag because they also did the same thing, invested very heavily in Ten Hag and then sacked him quite early on the season saying, oh, it was a mistake because the results are bad. But now they could be doing the same thing but keeping him. So they kind of, whatever they do is could be criticised. But yeah, I don't know. They're a mess at the moment. All they just got to hope is Amorim starts getting results. They got to pray he does because otherwise I don't know what they do.
Yeah. Tottenham against Bournemouth next up. Both of us gone for the same scoreline here. Again in 2-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult game for Spurs, to be honest, because Bournemouth, smart team, really good pressing. They're going to come with no fear. They don't. They're not scared of the bigger teams. And I think Tottenham, I can see it being quite a similar game in a way to Burnley. I know Burnley are a bit more of a defensive team, but they actually didn't just sit back against us. And I think Bournemouth are going to press us. Sometimes it's hard for us to play out the back in an intense pressing situation. And they're a very smart pressing team. So I think it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be very, both teams having moments, I think. I'm just back in Tottenham right now, riding a bit of a wave of positivity back off the back of that win against Bournemouth, Man City. I think the players are high on confidence at the moment. So I think we'll get a couple of moments, and I think we'll probably go 2-0 up. I think Bournemouth get back in the game and we hang on. So I've gone for a 2-1.
Yeah, I've also gone 2-1. I feel like if Bournemouth are going to press us, which they most likely will, Thomas Frank will instruct them to try and beat that press and go more direct than maybe what we would done against another team like that kind of level to come play at Tottenham. I do think we'll win. I think it'll be very hard-fought win. I think Bournemouth have started the season really well. When you think about the players that they've lost and the way they've started this campaign, I think it's really impressive. The performance at Anfield was quality. They got back into the game after being 2-0 down and they looked really good. Last time out, they won 1-0 against a Wolves team, which a lot of people are predicting to go down, which you probably expect against a 10-man Wolves. They'll do a bit more against them, but they got 3 points. That's all that matters. So look, it's a really hard start to the season. First 2 away games, Tottenham away and Liverpool away. And yeah, look, they're going to come and try and get at us, but I think Thomas Frank will have a plan for that. And yeah, they could even go 1-0 up early doors, but I still think Spurs are going to come out on top. So I'm going 2-1 to Tottenham. Next up, Sunderland, Brentford. Again, we've gone for the same scoreline in 1-1 here. Sunderland at home, we saw in the first game of the season, it's going to be an electric atmosphere. They're just, first time in the Premier League in such a long time. Their fans are going to be bang up for it. The players are going to be bang up for it and riding that kind of atmosphere as well. Brentford, obviously, we know what's happened to Brentford. And I think it's actually impressive how Brentford, again, like a bit similar to Bournemouth, even more impressive because they've lost even more players, how they've started the season. Already 3 points on the board for them. But I feel like Sunderland are going to ride a wave like they maybe did against West Ham in the first game. I know West Ham are a lot poorer than Brentford at this moment in time, but I couldn't really split the sides.
Yeah, me neither. I think I went for 1-1 as well. I think Brentford, great win against Aston Villa last time, and that will be giving them a massive boost of confidence because there will be a lot of question marks going into the season, especially how they got just dismantled against Forest in the first game. And that plays into the narrative that it's going to be a long, hard season for Brentford and they're going to be in a relegation battle. And look, that might still be true, but the Villa win will give them this confidence like, no, we can play. We can compete in this league. We're not just because we lost Frank and lost all these players, doesn't mean we're doomed. And I think that will give them confidence, going forward. Sunderland, though, got good players. I like the signings they've made. I still think, there's going to be some adjustment periods for them. And so I don't think it's going to be plain sailing. So I've gone for 1-1 here.
Wolves against Everton at Molineux. Again, we've gone for the exact same. This is getting silly now. The exact same scoreline at 1-0 to Everton. And Yeah, I mean, look, it was really poor first time out for Everton, but first game at the new stadium, I think they put in a really good performance, integrating Jack Grealish into the side, and he's going to be such an important player for them this season. Wolves, I just really worry for them this season. I feel like they're going to be rooted down to a relegation battle. And yeah, I think Everton are going to have a good season this year. They've brought in some really good signings, Tyler Dibbling as well, to be integrated into the side. So I think, yeah, it's going to be, Wolves are going to struggle massively to break down this Everton side. They've got not much going forward. They've got Strand Larson. He's rumoured to be potentially leaving as well. And if he does, like literally what is left for their forward line. So I struggle to see them scoring, and I think Everton will definitely get on the score sheet 1-0.
Yeah, I think with Strand Larson asking to leave as well, where's his head going to be at in this game? I know he scored a brace in the midweek, but Newcastle finally on the pressure there. I went for 1-0 as well. I think, as you say, Grealish integrating. You've got Ndiaye there. You've got you saw in the game in the home game, they've got some. Barry, the striker. He's also looking good in his first start. So I think Everton got the tools, but I think it's going to be one of those classic hard-fought away wins. I think it's going to be a game of few chances. I just feel like Everton are going to have the quality, and I just don't think Wolves are going to have the quality to score. We know if Everton were really poor in their first away game against Leeds, but they had Grealish on the bench for that game. They had Barry on the bench for that game. I think they might have learned a few lessons, and I think they'll come out. I'm not saying it's going to be a complete different display, but I think they'll just have a little bit more quality and they'll get a goal.
Yeah. Next up is Leeds against Newcastle. We've both gone for draws, but different score lines at least this time. Sim's gone for 1-1.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very difficult day for Newcastle. No Gordon, out for 3 games. Joelinton picked up a bad injury against Liverpool. Tonali dislocated his elbow, his shoulder. Shah went off with a concussion as well. So they're pretty decimated in this game. They're already struggling for a focal point up front. Maybe it puts Osula up front, who came on and scored against Liverpool. So the front three likely to be Barnes, Elanga, or Osula. But I also feel like how many are they going to create loads of chances with that? With not being able to dominate as they would in midfield without their
midfield going to be
probably Miley, Longstaff's not there anymore. Miley, Guimaraes, and I don't know, someone else. I'm not sure who else is there. Willock, I know he's injured as well. God knows. But yeah, I think they're going to struggle to dominate as much as they would. Leeds in their opening game.
Jacob Ramsey.
Jacob Ramsey. I didn't even consider. That's a pretty good play to come in.
Willock was on the bench last week.
I think they'll struggle with all the injuries. But I don't think Leeds are going to be good enough to completely take advantage, and I think Newcastle will score. I do think Leeds at home with the crowd behind, they'll get a goal, but I think they'll be on as even.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the players that can come in for the injured personnel, and I'm actually thinking that Newcastle are actually going to win this game now. But I have locked in 0-0, so it is what it is. My original thinking was they're just so decimated they're going to struggle to get on the score sheet. And they're going to sit very deep, and it's going to make it very hard for kind of Leeds to break them down. Ellen Road's always a hard place to go, no matter where Leeds are at, what stage they're at, whether in the Championship, whether in the Premier League. It's always a very difficult place to play your football. The fans are on top of you, tight pitch, and they're really good, those Leeds fans. It's always a packed house, and it's very difficult stadium to play in. However, I actually do think Newcastle will probably have a bit too much quality for this Leeds side, and I think it's going to probably be edged out by Newcastle, but I've locked in 0-0 now. Next up is Brighton, Manchester City. Both of us gone for goals. Sim's gone for 4-2. I've gone for 3-2.
Actually, I changed it last minute to 4-2. Well, I had 3-2. Just get the extra in there.
I think this is going to be a blockbuster of a game. I think Brighton are going to take the game to Man City, and Man City are definitely looking like a defence that you can get at. I just seeing it being a real end-to-end game where the team with the most quality will come out on top, but both teams are going to give as good as they get.
Yeah, I think both teams are vulnerable at the back. Both teams play good football. Both teams have got good quality in the forward line. I just think City's is much better, and I can see Haaland getting maybe a hat trick in this game or something. I can see the forward really running riot when it comes to what Brighton have to offer. But I see Brighton obviously creating lots of good chances as well with Matoma, Rutter, these kind of players. I see them really hurting City. So barnstorming game, but I've gone for City 4-2.
Nottingham Forest against West Ham again. We've gone for the same scoreline. 3-0 to Nottingham Forest, a heap even more misery on West Ham. I just can't see how West Ham get anything out of any game at this moment in time. I think if this result does happen, I think that's the end of Potter. I think they're going to sack him in the international break, give him a new manager bounce for Tottenham. That's how I just can't see, if they're getting battered in the first 3 games to the quality to the teams that they are getting battered to, I can't see them going into the Tottenham game with the same manager. I just can't see it. And Forest have started the season well, and yeah, they've got the quality, more than enough quality to heap more misery on West Ham.
Yeah, I gave West Ham maybe too much credit last week when I said they would only lose 2-1 to Chelsea instead of 5, and having another unbelievable loss in midweek where they were in control and then conceded 2 goals in 2 minutes to somehow give that game away. I think the feeling can't be worse. You got Bowen running into the crowd, nearly having to be held back with a confrontation in the crowd. Paquetá potentially leaving before the end of the window. His future's up in the air. It's all a complete mess at West Ham. It's a complete mess. There's no togetherness. It's very toxic at the moment. I can see Forest piling on the pressure here. So I think Forest actually played quite well in the opening 2 games as well. Even though, Nuno's still in a job and it's all very weird there as well, but they're still playing quite well on the pitch. And as long as that happens, I don't think any Forest fan's going to care. So I think they're going to take West Ham to the sword here, 3-0.
Now, the big blockbuster game of the weekend is Liverpool against Arsenal at Anfield. Sim has gone for 1-1.
Yeah, I was toying with 2-1 Arsenal, and I changed it last minute. I just feel because Saka's missing, I don't know if Odegaard fully fit. Could that mean do they take full advantage of what I think a vulnerable Liverpool side right now? They played Szoboszlai right back. They in the last game. They haven't really played that well in the first 2 games. They've played some nice football, but Newcastle second best, and the intensity was not there from Liverpool. They were really lucky that first of all Newcastle went down to 10, and that they got 3 points right at the end. Well, with that, pretty much the only time they put a move together that second half. If Arsenal can match that intensity with the strength they got in midfield, I can see them dominating. Are they going to have that real cutting edge? I know they got Gyökeres, but who's going to come in? Madueke, Eze. Look, they are good players, but obviously. But, it's their first game, it's their debut. Are they going to click straight away? We'll have to wait and see. Liverpool still got some good players, though. And obviously, I can see them maybe getting a goal. But obviously, Arsenal's defence is so robust. I don't know how many goals they're going to score. I don't think they'll struggle to get more than a goal, I think. But, yeah, I am worried about Arsenal potentially winning this. But I think if they had Saka and Odegaard, I would have gone for them to win. Because they're missing, I think I've just gone for the draw.
Yeah, look, Unfortunately, I've gone for Arsenal to win this game 2-1. I just feel that Liverpool, they just don't fill me with much confidence. The 2 games that I've seen them play, gave up a 2-goal lead, albeit they did end up winning against Bournemouth, but that should never be happening at Anfield. And the second game, they beat Newcastle, but they got completely outplayed, and that was a daylight robbery from Liverpool at St James's Park. So I think both games that Liverpool have played so far, there's been an element of luck of them getting the points. Arsenal, on the other hand, yes, they could have lost or even drawn that game against Manchester United first game. They absolutely smashed Leeds off the park last week. But I just feel like the solidity that Arsenal are going to bring to this game, as well as the set-piece threat. They've already scored set pieces in both games that they've played this season. I feel that it's going to probably be set-piece again, ole for Arsenal. And they're going to take the game 2-1, unfortunately. And if that does happen, that is a massive statement from Arsenal in terms of the title race, early doors.
Yeah, this is a real opportunity to lay down a marker earlier in the season. A real opportunity. If they go to Anfield, even though because Liverpool, I don't see too much changing with their squad. So this is pretty much going to be their squad. If they go and win, that really does put a statement like this season. It's not just about looking to win the title. It's about being favourites. It's about actually going and grabbing it. And too often they've got into these games looking for draws and not quite getting over the line. But if they go and win this game at Anfield early on, I think they're showing everyone we're favourites for this title.
And I think they are actually favourites. And I think they're the bookies' favourites as well.
Are they? Are they bookies' favourites now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Aston Villa, Crystal Palace. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Villa. I've gone for 2-1 to Palace. Finally, we have an opposing scoreline here. And I'm looking at Villa and they just doesn't look all right there at Aston Villa. Crystal Palace, I think, are a decent side, shown it a bit this season already. With the attacking players that they have on the counter, I think they can kill Aston Villa here. And I'm just not sure about Villa, man. Just something seems to be off at this moment in time. They haven't scored a goal yet this season, and against a very tight Crystal Palace backline, I think they're going to struggle.
I think Palace are going to struggle to play twice in a week. They've got Europa Conference League tonight, which I don't know. I haven't seen their team. I'm pretty sure they're going to be playing a strong team. They've got very little players. They really got a very small squad. They've lost Eze. They haven't replaced him yet. The El Canoes thing fell through. So not only is their squad weak, but it's also it's not only is it thin, but it's quite weak now. I mean, without Eze, I'm looking at that front line. I've got Mateta and Sarr. I know they did well against Forest, but for me, I think going to Villa Park, it's just going to be a step too far, and I think Villa are going to take it to them. And I've gone for a 2-1 win to Villa. Although I don't think it's going to convince me yet that they're turning their season around. But I think on this occasion, they're going to play a Palace team who are running on empty a bit, in my opinion.
And last but not least, the Star Men. Last week, it was a head-to-head for Bournemouth. This week is a head-to-head for Nottingham Forest.
Again, I had Wood and I changed it.
And so Sim's gone for Morgan Gibbs-White. I've gone for Chris Wood. Head-to-head, I mean, if Chris Wood's going to score, it's very likely an assist is probably going to come from Morgan Gibbs-White. But it's also, there is a chance that Chris Wood doesn't start.
Why is that?
With Callum Wendo hasn't been integrated fully yet.
Yeah, but he's been scoring, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he scored first game of the season, didn't score second. But yeah, I do expect Woods to start. I'm just saying there is a slight chance.
Yeah, true. Morgan Gibbs-White, I think West Ham's big problem is their midfield, and I can see Gibbs-White having a free reign there because I don't know who's going to stop him. So I went for him.
All right, so there you have it. That is our predictions for this game week 3, just before the international break, which I am not looking forward to. But Champions League draw in around 20